Now we want to continue on histogram. Histogram is similar to bar chart. A histogram is a series of rectangular blocks representing the frequency of a distribution. The blocks in a histogram are joined together and the height of each block is proportional to the frequency it represents. Now if you look at this picture here, so this is an example of an histogram. You realize that the blocks are joined together. So because they are joined together, it makes it histogram. If to say there is spaces in between the blocks, that means it will become a bar chart. But here we are having histogram because the blocks are joined together. Now let's look at this example. The following data give the length in centimeter of 30 iron rods. We are having 45, 55, 65, 60, 61, 68, 59, 54, 64, 76, 50, 68, 72, 68, 80, 67, 70, 62, 79, 67, 64, 63, 71, 59, 64, 53, 57, 74, 55, 57. A. Use class interval of 45 to 49, 50 to 54, 55 to 59, and so on to construct a frequency table for the data. B. Write out the class boundaries. C. Draw the histogram to show the distribution. D. What is the modal class? E. Using the histogram, estimate the mode. Now, let's go to the A part of the question. So, this A part says, use class intervals of 45 to 49, 50 to 54. That means you ought to follow this pattern to create a class interval. So, we have done something like this in the previous class when we are having group data. So, this is an example of a group data. So that means if you are having problem with grouping them, you can download the previous lesson. You'll be able to know it has been done extensively in the lesson. Make sure you download it and to be able to get it better. So for the class interval here, we are having from 45 to 49, 50 to 54, 55 to 59, 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, 75 to 79, 80 to 84. So these are the class interval within the ranges of this iron, the length of the iron. Now, using the tally system, I was able to get this. So if you check the previous lesson, you will be able to understand it better. So it means the length between 45 to 49, I have only one. From 50 to 54, I have only 3 of the iron rod to be with 54 with that range. Then from 55 to 59, we are having 6 of the iron rods to fall within the range. 60 to 64, I have 7 of the iron rods like that. So the frequency has been stated in this column. Now, before you can draw our histogram, we must be able to get the class boundaries. How are we going to get the class boundary? You will subtract 0.5 from this for the first class limit, then the upper class limit, then add 0.5 to the lower class limit. So subtract 0.5 from 45, you are having 44.5. Add 0.5 to 49, you have 49.5. So this is subtract 0.5 from 50, you have 49.5. Add 0.5 to 54 here, you have 54.5. Subtract 0.5 from 55, you having 54.5. Add 0.5 to this, you having 59.5. Subtract 0.5 from this, you have 59.5. Add 0.5 here, you have 64.5. I believe you've got the pattern. So from the class limit here, lower class limit here, you will subtract 0.5. Then from the upper class limit, add 0.5. You will now notice that if you do that, the upper class limit here will now be the lower class boundary here. So this is just to ensure continuity between the bars you are going to draw. It is to ensure continuity between the bars you are going to draw. So now you are having now you realize that from the lower class limit you have to subtract 0.5. Then from the upper class limit you add 0.5. So you realize for this 44.5 to 49.5. So this one begin from 49.5 to 54.5. So this one begin from 54.5 to this. So you notice that the end of the previous one is the beginning of this. So you are adding and subtracting so that there will be continuity between the bars you are going to draw. So there is now continuity. So now we will now draw it. It's just as if you want to draw the bar chart. So first of all, you need to get your vertical axis, then your horizontal axis. On the vertical axis, that's where you are going to place the frequency. So you can number it in ascending order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Then for the horizontal axis, that is where you will now put your class boundary. You are going to put your class boundary on the horizontal axis. So this is it. So since the length start from 44.5, so we will start from 44.5. So here I'm going to be using 2 centimeter to represent the 5 units. So it means, so the first thick line start from 44.5, then I will count that 2 centimeter, I have 49.5, then you name this 54.5, then the next one 59.5, then 64.5, 69.5, 74.5, 79.5, 84.5. Then the first one says that 44.5 to 49.5, what is the frequency? 1. So from 44.5, 49.5, 1. So you now draw your rectangular block to make sure you are to the frequency of 1. Then from 49.5 to 54.5, the frequency is 3. So this from 49.5 to 54.5, the frequency is 3. So you draw your rectangular block to be able to cover from this place to 3 like this. So this is your rectangular block. That is, for 49.5 to 54.5. Then you are having from 54.5 to 59.5. That is 6. The frequency there is 6. So from 54.5 to 59.5, you draw your rectangular block again. So to make sure the frequency is 6. So that's it. Then from 59.5 to 64.5, the frequency there is 7. So from 59.5 to 64.5 is 7. So you draw your rectangular block, and so make sure the frequency is 7 like that. Then from 64.5 to 69.5, the frequency there is 6 also. So you draw it, that covers 6. Then from 69.5 to 74.5, the frequency there is 4. So make sure you draw your rectangular block so that it will cover 4. Then from 74.5 to 79.5, the frequency there is 2. So draw your rectangular block so that it will cover 2. Then from 79.5 to 84.5, the frequency there is 1. Draw a rectangular block so that the frequency there will go. So by like that, you've been able to draw the histogram. Then D part of the question says, what is the modal class? The modal class is the class is the class interval that has the highest frequency. The highest frequency here is what? 7. You see the highest frequency here is 7. So the modal class here will be what? That is the class with the highest frequency is what? 60 to 64. So the modal class here is what? From 60 to 64. So the modal class here is 60 to 64. Have you seen that? So the modal class is 60 to 64 because that is where the class so as I'm saying, we said that the question says what is the modal class. So to get the modal class, so it will be the class with the highest frequency. The modal class here will be what? From the highest frequency here is 7, so which is 60 to 64. So the modal class is 60 to 64. Then the last part of the question says using the histogram estimate the mode. Using the histogram estimate the mode. To estimate the mode from the histogram, now you look at the mode here, you realize that the mode here is on the histogram will be what? The one with the highest frequency, highest rectangular block here. So this is the mode. Now that means to be able to estimate it, you now look for the rectangular blocks beside it. This is the mode, the one with the highest frequency. Then the rectangular block beside this one is this, and the rectangular block beside this is this. Are you following? So now you realize that you will now the corner, the rectangular block of the highest one, the corner of this one, you join it with your ruler to the corner of this to meet the head of the corner of the one by the side. Then the corner of this, you join it with to meet the one of the rectangular block here. Have you seen how I did my own? So you rule a line from corner to the corner here, then you rule a line from the corner to the corner here. So their point of intersection is what you now trace to the horizontal axis. The value it gives you here is what you are going to write as your mode. So if you use the histogram, so now you realize here, since we said 2 centimeter is representing 5 units, so you realize that in 2 centimeter we are having 10 lines representing 5 units, 5 centimeter. So what's the value of 1 centimeter? 1 centimeter will now be what? Will now be 10 over 1 is equal to 5 over x. So this should give you what? Cross multiply. So that means 5 times 1 over 10, which is 0.5 centimeter. So it means each of the line here is 0.5 centimeter. To make it easier, you can have it this way. You can say so since 10 lines is equal to 5 centimeter, so one line will be equal to this one, you say 1 over this 10 times 5, which will give us 0.55 centimeter. So it means each of the lines here is 0.5. So you know the mode is here, right? So since the mode is here, so that means you now have, you'll be adding 0.5. So if this is 59.5 plus 0.5, that is 60, plus 0.5, 60.5, plus 0.5, 61, plus 0.5, 61.5, plus 0.5, that is what? 62. So you realize that the mode, so the mode will be the point, this point of intersection of this lines you have drawn, you trace it down, the value it gives you there will be the mole. So our mole here will now be 62 centimeter. Now let's do another example. Let's do another example. Draw a histogram for the frequency distribution given below. Now let's consider another question. Draw a histogram for the frequency distribution given below. So that means the class interval is what now in this question, draw a histogram for the frequency distribution given below. So the class interval is given from 1 to 5, is the frequency there is 3, 6 to 10 is 5, the 11 to 15, the frequency there is 7, then the class interval here, so 16 to 20, the frequency there is 6, then class interval between 21 to 25, the frequency there is 4. From the histogram, find the modal class. B, estimate the mode. C, find the median class. So we are expected to do the histogram for this question. So first of all, it is very important you have your table. So you have the class interval, you from 1 to 5, 6 to 10. After the class interval, you need to know, it is important that when you are drawing an histogram, you must always get the class boundary. So you get the class boundary by subtracting 0.5 from the first one here and adding 0.5 to the upper class limit. So if you subtract 0.5 here, you have 1 minus 0.5 give you 0.5, 5 plus 0.5 give you 5.5, 6 minus 0.5 give us 55.5, 10 plus 0.5 give us 10.5, then 11 minus 0.5 give us 10.5, 15 plus 0.5 give us 15.5, 16 minus 0.5 give us 15.5, 20 plus 0.5 give us 20.5, 21 minus 0.5 give us 20.5, 25 plus 0.5 give us 25.5. We have got the class limits now. So you need the frequency between 1 to 5 is 3, that of 6 to 10 is 5, 11 that's 7, 6, this is 21 to 25 is 4. So we have to now draw from the histogram. So that means we have to use the histogram. We are expected to draw the histogram now. So on the vertical axis, you represent your frequency on the vertical axis. Then the horizontal axis, the class intervals here. So it starts from, we are going to use the class boundary to draw this horizontal axis. So you start from 0.5. So the first one here is 0.5 to 5.5. Then from 5.5 to 10.5. Then from 10.5 to 15.5. From 15.5 to 20.5. Then from 20.5 to, so here also I'm using 2 centimeter between each of the class interval. So that means here 2 centimeter represent 5 units also. So now you will now draw your histogram. So the reason you are adding and subtracting 0.5 is to ensure continuity between the rectangular blocks. So when from 0.5 to 5.5 you are having 3. So from 0.5 to 5.5, draw the rectangular block, that is 3. From 5.5 to 10.5 you are having 5. From 5.5 to 10.5, the rectangular block there is 5. Then from 10.5 to 15.5, the rectangular block there is 7. So from 10.5 to 15.5, the rectangular block there is 7. Then from 15.5 to 20.5, the rectangular block there is should be 6, because the frequency there should be 6. So the frequency here is 6. Then that of 20.5 to 25.5, the frequency there should be what? 4. So you can see that. So after drawing it from the histogram, so that means any deduction you have to do should be made from your histogram. So find the modal class. To find the modal class, so you look for the one with the highest frequency. So the highest frequency here is what? 7. So the modal class here will be what? From 11 to 15. So that's what you write.
My mommy is inside.
So that is from 11 to 15. So the modal class here will go from 11 to 15. Then the other question say estimate the mode. To estimate the mode here, the mode will now be what? Since you are having this to be the highest rectangular block with the highest frequency, so the ones here and here, so you make sure you now join this one with the corner of this here. So you use your ruler, join the corner of this highest one to the block beside it, and the corner of this the highest one this other side to the block beside this. So their point of intersection is now what you now trace to the horizontal axis. Then you now read the value here. So you realize that since we use 2 centimeters to represent 5 units here, one line here will be what? 0.5. So if this is 10.5, so we want to measure it to this particular point. So if this is 10.5, so this line again will give us 10.5 plus 0.5, that is 11, plus 0.5, 11.5, 12, 12.5, 13, 13.5. So 13.5, you will now realize that this line falls for my own, it falls between the space between between 13.5 and 14. So in between then, that should be what? It should be 13.75. So that means the mode is 13.75. Then the last part of the question says find the median class. For the median class should be the class, the one in the middle. So where are we supposed to locate the median? We are just looking for the class interval where the median should be, if you are told to look for the median class. So since we are having 25 here, if we divide it by 2, that will be 12.5. So that means by the time we start counting, adding this one, the group where we can get 12.5 should be the median class group. So if we do 3 plus 5 is what? 8. Then we are having, then 8 plus 7 is what? 15. So that means the median class group should be between this number. So the group here is what? 11 to 15. So that should be the answer. So for your work practice, you are going to answer this question. Number 1, the data shows the marks of 40 students in a history test. We having, these are the marks: 41, 52, 37, 56, 43, 48, 65, 46, 51, 66, 74, 23, 63, 61, 58, 44, 45, 57, 56, 38, 35, 28, 50, 49, 36, 45, 79, 68, 59, 56, 26, 47, 54, 49, 67, 55, 32, 53, 56, 71. A. Form a group frequency table with a class interval of 20 to 29, 30 to 29, 39, 40 to 49, like that. Then B. Draw a histogram for the distribution. C. From the histogram, 1. Find the modal class. Roman figure 2. Estimate the mode. Then the second question says, the table below shows the marks obtained by 40 pupils in a mathematics test. So these are the marks. Then 0 to 9, that's 4.